reborn a day before the flood. I didn't stock up on food. I didn't build a shelter. And I didn't spend my savings on a carrier. Because I had no money at all. But luckily, I have a god-tier rod that never misses. It levels up infinitely just by fishing. I can catch anything. Yesterday or the day before, the flood submerged my 15-story building. I tore down everything usable at home and made a simple raft to start sailing. Then my girlfriend Chu Shin texted, "Afen, I'm so scared. My house is about to be flooded. Come pick me up quickly." A cold sneer formed on my lips. Without any hesitation, I typed back, "Don't be afraid. Shin, you must block the door tight. Don't move on your own. I'll definitely save you as soon as I can." I then turned off the satellite network, put my phone in a waterproof bag, and stuffed it into my backpack. Save you, in your dreams. In my past life, she and my buddy Chunzi fed me to a hungry megalodon themselves. Taking a deep breath, I checked the meager supplies in my bag. It's time for my first cast. With excitement, one immediately cast the rod. But after fishing for nearly an hour, there was no movement in the water. Just as I was about to reel in, the rod tip was suddenly pulled down hard. I tensed my muscles instantly, cranking the reel like crazy. The force in the water was huge, almost pulling me in. Gritting my teeth, I used the momentum to lift the rod. Next second, a red shadow burst out. Fishing successful. Congrats, you got a pack of spicy strips. Gained 1 point of proficiency. My eyes twitched. This is a bit ridiculous. It proves the old saying in fishing. A fisherman can catch anything, except for actual fish. Plus, one cast costs 10 stamina, so I can only fish 10 times a day at most. At this current speed, upgrading will take at least 12 days. I knew clearly that I had no time left to develop, because in 7 days, marine life will undergo its first mutation. They will become highly aggressive and possess a certain level of intelligence. Thinking of this, I quickly cast the rod again. A moment later, on the float, a faint golden light began to flicker. Is it a golden legend? I pulled the rod up with all my might. The reel spun rapidly, even throwing off hot sparks as I bit down. I leaned back onto the deck, using my entire body weight to hold the rod that was bent into a semicircle. But even at full strength, the reel wouldn't budge. The raft began to shake violently, water pouring over the edges. After a long stalemate, my body began to give out. Then I had a sudden spark of inspiration. Since I can't outpull it, why not just exhaust its strength instead? No sooner said than done. I used every ounce of my strength to wedge the rod into a gap in the raft. I stood up and used the rod as a rudder. It happened to be pointing toward the pier. And back then, that was where I found the life-saving boat. Sure enough, the tension drove the raft forward. I stood on the raft like I was surfing. This scene stunned the survivors hiding on rooftops. But I had no time to care. To prevent myself from capsizing, I was dragged by the thing underwater, circling the harbor dozens of times. The creature finally grew weak. Seeing my chance, one immediately reeled in the line. The water exploded with golden light. A dark purple ring with a faint glow clattered onto the raft. Success! Obtained hidden item. Spatial ring. Rarity. Ability grade. Storage capacity. Grows with the host's mental stats. Currently only stores system and fished items. It really is a golden legend. I collapsed on the raft, gasping for air. With a single thought, I put the god-tier rod and spicy strips into the 5 cubic meter space instantly. Tears filled my eyes. I closed them and began to drift. Meanwhile, in the luxury Fengjiang garden, Chu Shin fiddled with her phone anxiously, waiting for news of my rescue. Chanzi walked out then, grabbing Chu Shin's slim waist. "Don't worry, he loves you so much. He'll come even if it kills him." Chu Shin frowned slightly, feeling something was off. Lu Fan must be rowing like a dog right now. When he arrives, I'll kick him off the boat and take my uncle's yacht to save you all. On the sofa, the aunt and uncle holding a dog heard this and hurried over. "Oh, Zhao Zi is so thoughtful. Our Shenner is so lucky to have met you. You're much better than that loser Lu Fan." Hearing their flattery, Chanzi nodded with a smile, but a cold look flashed in his eyes. His hands moved instinctively towards Chu Shin. The uncle and aunt saw this, turned away awkwardly, pretending to play with the dog, not daring to disturb them. On the other side, I resumed fishing after an hour's rest. It would be dark in 4 or 5 hours, and the ocean at night becomes freezing. The first cast was a pack of cigarettes. The second was a kitchen cleaver. Not until the fourth cast did I see a faint green light on the float. My pupils shrank. I loosened the drag on the reel, while swaying the rod side to side, to break the rhythm of the thing swimming, holding my breath. The handle spun wildly the next second. A square brown shadow burst from the water. Fishing successful. Obtained hidden item. Basic workbench. Rarity, excellent grade. Used for synthesizing blueprints. Once per day. Basic disassembly must be bound to a craft. Blueprint function limited to common and excellent quality items. Disassembly refreshes daily at noon. Looking at the raft that could fall apart any time, I didn't hesitate. Kneeling in the center of the raft, I used both hands to press the workbench onto the thickest joint. Upon binding, the workbench emitted a golden light curtain, instantly sweeping across the entire raft. Every board and rope knot seemed to be locked by some power into one indestructible whole. The workbench had another great use, the disassembly function. I quickly searched my supply bag and took out 4 hand warmers, since I can disassemble them. Let's see if I can turn trash into treasure. I put the heat pack into the workbench slot. As the light rose and faded, a palm-sized pitch-black chunk appeared in the slot. Disassembly complete. Got a low-purity iron-carbon alloy material. Releases heat at 65 degrees Celsius when exposed to air. Doesn't absorb water. Lasts about 12 hours. This is the basic material for making thermal gear. It can also be used for emergency heating. Whoa, that's awesome. My eyes lit up. This is like a portable little heater. I'm depending on it to survive tonight. But just as I stored it in my spatial ring, dark clouds suddenly rolled in over the sky. My face instantly turned pale. Last time, after the rain stopped. It was supposed to be sunny for 5 days straight. Who forgot to sing the little yellow flower story song? I've got a bad feeling the heavy rain is coming again. Suddenly, I'm really unsettled. If it happens, I'll lose body heat fast. I might even freeze to death tonight. The next second, thunder crashed. A rainstorm mixed with massive waves came right at me. I got thrown straight off and crashed hard into the icy water. Cold and breathless, my whole body went numb, fighting the pain in my chest. I swam up with all my strength and grabbed onto the raft edge. Using my last bit of energy, I climbed up, bracing for the next wave. No idea how long it lasted. Finally, the storm faded to a light rain, but the chill was so intense. I was starting to lose consciousness. Shivering. I planned to take out the iron carbon pack from the ring to save my life, but just then, a blinding spotlight suddenly flashed, and a deep engine roar followed. I struggled to lift my head, squinting against the light. That old fishing boat from my memory was pushing through the rain towards me, slowly heading my way. The boat stopped next to my raft. A sturdy middle-aged man lifted me up and carried me onto the fishing boat, shouting to bring the raft on board later. Said it could be chopped for firewood. Soon, I was in a warm, dry lounge. Just then, a tanned girl complained, "Dad, it's so dangerous outside, and it's pouring rain. Why save him anyway?" The man just smiled and set me gently down on the floor, then quickly helped me out of my soaked jacket. Even though Zhang Xiaoman complained, she still fetched a not-so-warm heater and put it in front of me. "Hey kid, my dad saved your life. Don't get any funny ideas, or I'll kick you overboard to feed the fish." I managed to glance at her. She's pretty for sure, but she's all muscle, probably trained in martial arts. Not someone I want to mess with. Once they stepped out, I focused my thoughts and took out the iron carbon pack from my ring. I warmed up, waiting to feel normal again. I immediately listened closely, because I heard some weird banging outside. Under the canopy on deck, a 200-pound blonde guy was swinging an axe and hitting my raft like crazy. Is this thing made of iron or what? I've been chopping forever and it's not working. Zhang Yu threw away the axe and flopped down on the deck, giving up. The tall, skinny blonde, Chen Yang, saw him quit and kicked him right away. "Told you to eat more meat. You can't even hack up a busted raft." Just then, Zhang Weiguo's voice called out, "Why do you both look so pale?" They both forced a smile. stopped working on the raft. Uncle Zhang, this thing's way too tough. The axe can't do anything. Jiang Weigu was a bit confused, but still told them to go rest. We should be close to the yacht dock. I'll tell you when we find it.
He took Zhang Xiaoman back to the cockpit.
Once Zhang and his daughter left, Chan Yang waved the axe and snickered coldly. Once we find the yacht, you and your daughter can feed the fish. Zhang Yu jumped up immediately, looking terrified. Chan, are we really gonna kill them? I'm scared of going to jail. Chan Yang slapped him. You idiot. The whole world is flooded. Jail doesn't exist anymore. Meanwhile, inside the lounge, you're clutching your spinning head, your whole body aching. You checked your system panel and realized you already had a moderate cold. In the apocalypse with little medicine, even a bad cold can be deadlier than disasters.
But
when you got to the door to the cockpit, you suddenly heard the conversation inside. Zhang Xiaomi said awkwardly, "Those blonde guys really seem shady. Should we really help them find the yacht?" Jiang Gugu patted her shoulder. "Don't worry, kiddo. Once we find the yacht, we'll borrow some fuel. Then head west to West Loop Mountain. Heard someone's built a temporary base there. It's our only way out." Hearing that outside, your pupils shrank on reflex. If you remember right from last time, that's the only official safe base, within 500 miles. Too bad last time Chunzi screwed it up. Had to look for this old yacht at sea. Missed the best escape window, and I was used as a scapegoat for their escape. And just as I was thinking that, Zhang Xiaoman suddenly turned the doorknob. Next thing, I fell to the floor. I looked at them awkwardly and struggled to ask, "Hey, got any water?" Zhang Weigu frowned, came over to check. My forehead jumped at his touch. "So hot. Go boil some water, kid." "Come on, shaman." He opened a drawer next to him and pulled out a medicine box labeled 999. In a collapsed world like this, a single pill is enough for 2 grown men to fight over, or trade for a night with the former goddess. Weigu took 1 pill and handed it to me. Warm and really thoughtful. This stuff is precious. I don't have much left either. Take 1 and try to pull through. Looking at the new capsule, my feelings were complicated. Jiang Weigu is a good man, but in the apocalypse, good guys usually die first. But just as I thanked him after taking the medicine, a sudden shout came from outside. "Uncle Zhang, stop the boat. We see the yacht." Zhang handed the wheel to his daughter and stepped out of the cockpit, leaning on the rail. They soon got close to the yacht, but he had no idea what was happening below. Almost lost my life. Chen Yang shot Zhang Niu a look, followed Zhang Weigu onto the yacht to check things out. Found the fuel gauge was full. Nothing wrong inside the yacht either. At this moment, Zhang Weigu sensed something was off, since Zhao Chun found the fishing boat. "Can we still borrow some fuel, like we agreed?" Chen Yang dusted off his hands, grinned wide. "No problem," Uncle Zhang said. "Of course we can." Then went back to the boat to grab the tools. Zhang Weigu skillfully sorted out the hoses, but the next second he was knocked out cold. He fell face first into the water on the deck. Body twitched twice and stopped moving. Chen Yang tossed the stick, shook his numb hand. Shuang Niu grabbed the nylon rope he'd prepared, tied up the half-conscious Zhang Weiguo's hands behind his back. Suddenly, the cockpit door swung open to reveal Zhang Xiaoman. She saw her father lying on the ground, didn't hesitate a second, grabbed the fire axe by the door and charged. But Chen Yang reacted instantly, yanked Zhang Weigu up by his hair, pressed a folding knife to his carotid. Zhang Xiaoman froze, axe in midair. Her eyes were brimming with tears. "You bastards! Without my dad, you'd be fish food by now." Chen Yang spat on the ground, looking down his nose at them. "I never begged you guys to save me. Don't even try that guilt trip stuff. Drop the axe and get on your knees." Zhang Xiaoman had no choice but to kneel, hopeless. Zhang Niu tied her up right away, then rubbed his hands together nearby, with a sleazy look on his face. "This yacht's huge. Just missing a woman?" Zhang Weiguo's eyes went red with rage. He fought with everything he had. But Chen Yang kicked him square in the chest. "Give me the code to the supply safe, and I might let your daughter leave." Zhang Weigu just shut his eyes, didn't say a word. He knew with his daughter in their hands, even if she survived now, her life would be hell later on. Seeing this, Chen Yang stood up, eyes full of malice. "Fatty, go drag out that sick guy. Moments later, I was dragged out pale, forced out of hiding. Chan Yang tossed the folding knife to Zhuang Niu, cut off his head, and show Uncle Zhang what'll happen to his daughter. Zhuang Niu let out a weird yell, trying to psych himself up. Next second, he charged at you with the knife raised. But the deck was too slippery. He ended up falling right on you. A few seconds passed, but he didn't move. Chan Yang cursed and walked over, kicked Zhuang Niu's butt, but still no response. But just as Chan Yang rolled him over, a flash of cold light suddenly shot out from under Zhuang Niu's big body. The blade flashed. Chan Yang jerked his head aside. A second later, he was howling and holding his head, falling back. There was now a bloody ear on the wet deck, fresh blood pooling around it. You pushed yourself up on your knee, shakily got to your feet, didn't even look at Chan Yang's screams, raised the machete and swung at his neck. But suddenly, a huge wave slammed the boat's side. I was so weak I lost my footing, and just collapsed on the deck. The machete flew out of my hand, landing right at Chan Yang's feet. The whole situation flipped instantly. Chan Yang froze for a second. Then his eyes lit up with wild joy. He scrambled over, snatched up the machete, snarled, "You little brat. Die." Zhang Xiaoman screamed, warning Lu Fan to watch out. But just as the blade came down, Chan Yang suddenly felt his arm go light. The machete in his hand just vanished, like it turned to thin air. Chan Yang froze mid-swing, eyes about to pop out. Before his slow brain could get it, my empty left hand shot behind me. Fingers tightened. The machete appeared in my hand again out of nowhere. With a quick backhand swing, the blade went right through Chen Yang's gut. I pulled the knife out with a blank face, fighting through the headache. Sat on Chen Yang, about to finish him. But Chen Yang grinned, blood all over his teeth, and roared, "If I'm dying, we're all dying together." Then whipped out a detonator and slammed his thumb down. It was a homemade bomb for fishing. Back when we checked the yacht, Zhang Niu secretly stuck it by the fuel tank. My eyes went wide. Hands moved faster, just sliced through Chen Yang's throat, when a blast of heat exploded with a roar, coming from the bottom of the boat. The cockpit blew straight up. I got thrown by the blast, rolled twice, and hit the ground hard. The fireball lit up the leaking diesel, and half the deck was swallowed in flames. The boat was taking on water, and started tipping hard. I ignored the pain, felt around in Chen Yang's pocket for a key ring, and limped toward the boat, cut the ropes binding Zhang Weigu and the women. "Let's go! Hurry, get to the yacht." Zhang's wife and daughter stumbled over the rail and jumped onto the gray-white yacht. Zhang Xiaoman stood on the yacht's deck, reaching out to me in a panic. "Lu Fan, get up here. The boat's going under." But I shook my head in the firelight and looked at the raft instead. An idea popped into my head. Glanced at Zhang Xiaoman. "What time is it now?" Zhang Xiaoman froze. "Asking about the time now?" 11:55, hurry. If you don't go, it's too late." I muttered to myself, a flash of intent in my eyes. 5 minutes left. Then took out the pack of cigarettes I dropped earlier. Tossed it right into Zhang Xiaoman's arms from a few meters away. "These smokes should trade for a ton of supplies at the base. My way of paying back your dad. Head west. Go to Xiwan Mountain Base. Don't look back. That's all." I turned away and didn't look at her again. Dragged my worn-out body to the raft. Zhang Xiaoman stared at my determined back, then looked at her barely breathing dad, stomped her foot hard, and got in the yacht's cockpit. Boat carried the two away into the dark, stormy night. I stood on the doomed ship, silently reciting in my heart, counting down to midnight, the new day. Ding! Today's disassembly count refreshed. I slammed my right hand on the workbench, left hand still gripping the sinking deck. Disassemble! A blinding flash of gold exploded under the workbench. The light raced across the deck. The sinking giant suddenly froze in midair, motionless. In this law-defying space, the hull began to crumble. Matter turned into fine light, flooding the workbench core.
10 minutes later.
The glow faded. The massive ship was gone. Chan and Zhuang's bodies lost their support, drifting away like trash. But I sat on my raft, watching the floating materials. Scrapping successful? Congratulations, host. Got 20 treated wood planks.
10 construction iron plates.
5 reinforced glass panels, 2 refined copper coils, 5 OL of refined diesel, 1 barrel of special parts, damaged engine, repairable. Looking at these things, I couldn't help but frown. Just this from a whole ship? But the system explained. I finally understood. Workbench power is limited, so it purified the materials. With a single thought, I put them in my spatial ring. Spirit points are at 7, expanding space to 7 cubes. The workbench vibrated again. Detected. Materials meet upgrade needs. Can upgrade to level 1. Basic survival boat. Upgrade now? Fever made my vision blur. I quickly chose upgrade. The materials flew out, merging into the raft. The raft turned to iron. A rugged, beautiful steel boat. Part wood, part steel. Like a mini armored vehicle. I climbed into the cabin. The world went quiet. It was simple inside, but dry and safe. Looking at my own space. After death and rebirth, my eyes felt warm. I worked like a dog before. Si Xue's family never cared. They took me for granted, constantly judging me.
But now,
I have dignity to survive. In the warmth, I curled up, drifting into darkness. Early next morning, I opened the cabin door. My lips were parched, and my stomach growled. Time to cast a line. Need food and fresh water? Meanwhile, at the luxury apartments, Si Chu Shin through her phone. Damn it, it's totally dead. Half a bag of crackers left. She held her stomach, eyes full of malice. Is Lu Fan dead yet? How dare he ignore me? Just then, her aunt and uncle pulled her aside, whispering, Shin, I think he's drowned. With the food left, Chanzi eats too much. If we stay here, we'll all starve. Shin frowned. Aunt's eyes went cold. I have a plan. The neighbors have a raft for their grandkid. Have Chanzi take it, so we can leave. Uncle was stunned. His wife was ruthless. Si Chu Shin thought for a bit, then went into the bedroom. Minutes later, Chanzi heard the plan. He walked to the living room, grabbing a fruit knife. I can do it, but they have a grown son. He's pretty big. I can't do it alone. Uncle, help me. The two crept next door. With a crowbar, they smashed the door open. The man waved a knife. Get out. What do you want? Chanzi sneered. Lunging forward, his knife went for the neck. He knew martial arts, and he played dirty. Before the man could react, his throat was slashed. The old couple screamed, charging at them. Uncle got stabbed in the leg. Chanzi seized the moment, killing them both. Uncle fell, screaming. Looking at the carnage, he trembled. Z, help me up. Chanzi wiped the blood. He walked over, panting. He looked down at his uncle. Uncle, that looks deep. Yes. Take me back for bandages. Chanzi knelt down, voice eerily calm. Feeding you takes my share, and I'd have to nurse you. The boat is small. You're old. And now you're a cripple. Don't slow us down. Uncle's eyes widened. Before he could beg, a cold blade hit his heart. Chanzi was expressionless. He twisted the knife. Death is easier. Saves us all the trouble. Killing for the second time. It felt so good. He found the raft and looted everything. Finally, he tossed the body into the flood. After it was done, he went back. When Uncle didn't return, they asked where he was. Chanzi's eyes turned red. Those bastards? They were so brutal. Uncle saved me, but they threw him out. Second aunt rolled her eyes back and burst into tears. Si Yu Shin was so scared she covered her mouth and started crying too. Chanzi pulled Si Yu Shin in close and let her rest her head on his shoulder. Shin, I'm lucky to be alive. Once I recover in a few days, we can leave. I'll make sure you survive with me. Si Chu Shin was deeply moved. She hugged this blood-soaked man tightly. Meanwhile, it's 1 p.m. I'm just sitting at the front of the boat, enjoying the fish I caught this morning. Got 5 bites today. Besides bottled water and some beef to survive, I also pulled up a clean rubber hose, some wooden planks, and a pack of quartz sand. It's just basic everyday stuff. But in the apocalypse, all of it is super useful. Some more time passed. I kept fishing as fast as I could. As soon as the float suddenly sank, a green light flashed, And what I fished up almost made me stop breathing. Fishing succeeded. Got a Type 64 pistol. Quality, fine. Super reliable. But only holds 7 rounds. In a world with no order left. This is the ultimate truth. Man, I'm seriously lucky today. Carefully stashed it in my spatial ring. Confidence rising fast. Back to fishing again. But after 2 more hours, 7th try, got a windproof lighter. 8th try, scored a vacuum-packed down comforter. Kids don't always cry, do they? Gamblers don't always lose either. Time to restore the glory of us anglers. Sure enough, with my all-out 9th try, the green light on the float popped up again. Give me something good. Fishing succeeded. Got a fine blueprint for a basic drip filter desalination device. I slapped my thigh with excitement. Put the blueprint on the workbench to have a look. A rough but life-saving device. Way less energy needed than distillation. And steady freshwater production. But without power and a strong pump, it's so slow you might want to smash it. Stared at the workbench. You frowned a bit. The side materials are manageable. But the main part is total luck fishing. If I don't catch any freshwater before then, I'm probably done for. I looked up ahead. Saw a 30-floor office building 200 meters away. There must be aquariums or water filters inside. Shouldn't be hard to find a household row filter. With guns and knives. I went solo, just as I started the engine. The air froze instantly. There was a warning in big red letters on the workbench. Engine badly damaged. Needs a fine repair kit. Or same-grade parts to fix it. I slapped my forehead. I was too busy upgrading the boat yesterday. Forgot the engine was still busted. Face turned dark. Pulled out a wooden plank from the ring. Made an oar with my hatchet on the spot. Started going primitive. Moving at a turtle's pace. Forced my way toward the office building. Half an hour of rowing and strength training later. Totally worn out. Finally pressed up against the 18th floor glass. Looking through the window. Inside is an office half flooded. Wedged my boat into the window. Grabbed my hatchet tighter. Kept one hand on the Type 64 in my ring. Took a deep breath. Climbed in through the window. The water came up to my knees. Stepped as quietly as I could. Scanned the room fast. In the dark, found it emptied out. Someone already searched this place. Checked several more companies after that. All the same situation. Looks like the survivors in this building already formed a group. I snorted coldly. Looked up at the ceiling. If they've gathered all the supplies, no need to search room by room. Just go rob them directly. But as you pass a small office, the smell of rot suddenly hits hard. A thick stench of death and decay. I instinctively hold my breath. Press up against the wall by the door. But the next scene, in the dim light, shows you something terrible inside. Damn, that's brutal. The office not even that big. 4 or 5 women's bodies floating inside. Clearly tortured horribly before dying. It's only day 6 post-apocalypse. People aren't drowned yet, but their conscience is gone. Are these guys even human anymore? I was about to pull back. Then, from upstairs, heavy footsteps and voices came down. I stepped back quick, hid in the shadows to watch. Just a few seconds later, 2 filthy men in suits, looking hollowed out, came down carrying a fresh female corpse. Like dumping trash. They tossed the body into the office full of dead people. The one with glasses wiped sweat from his face. Said flatly, such a tragedy. All for half a piece of bread. Wrecked by Peng and his guys. Didn't even get to eat. And they're dead anyway. The taller guy in front shivered. Told him to shut it quick. Quietly chanted, Amen, for the dead. Then rushed back upstairs. You looked at the staircase they vanished into. Ice cold as ice. Peng must be the boss of this building. That also means the main filter part is probably stashed with Peng. Checked my magazine. Chambered around. Then crept up the stairs. Top floor office suite. 3 well-kept middle-aged men. Lounging on leather sofas. Peng flicked a green beam. Eyes squeezed into slits. Just got through on satellite call. Still got my old connections on Shawan Hill. In 5 days they're sending a boat for us. Ball Sue and Skinny Niu, with fake smiles all over. Start flattering him. Man, Peng, you've got a crazy network. Seriously, Peng, please help us out, bro. We're all counting on you. Peng soaked up the compliments. Glanced at the almost empty can of meat. How much food and women are left? Sue rubbed his hands, sounding hesitant. Still got a dozen women locked up downstairs. At least 5 or 6 are still pretty. Should last you a while. But as for the supplies, not much left. Peng gave a cruel little laugh. In this world, the cheapest thing is life. Tonight, have Li Hyo stir up a riot. No need to let them waste food. Meanwhile, on the 29th floor open office, over 100 survivors are packed in. Then a slender woman, 5-foot Shaoli, 220 pounds, spoke up. Those girls who went up recently are probably living the high life, selling their bodies, but beats starving here. Thin Xiaoyu stared blankly, feeling uneasy. The girls who went up, not one came back. What if something's wrong? But Shaoli rolled her eyes, looking totally dismissive. They wanted sugar daddies, and they got what they wanted. Who'd come back to this pig pen? She raised her voice to complain. Those guys have terrible taste, ignoring a natural beauty like me. Just then, a commotion broke out at the door. Buskat Li Hyo entered with thugs. He's Mr. Peng's right-hand man, and the boss of this floor. Zhao Li's eyes lit up instantly. She charged like a human tank. The whole floor shook. She used a fake shy voice. Brother Li Hyo, picking more girls for luxury? Look at my fair skin and my curvy charm. Mr. Peng will love me. The room went dead silent. Everyone's eyes widened, staring at this human square. Their stomachs turned. Li Hyo's lip twitched.
He fought back his disgust.
Because nobody knew.
He wasn't here for a pageant.
Before tonight's purge, he had to clear out some trouble. He stepped back and signaled his men, take this fat pig. She's one.
His men got the hint.
Smirking through their disgust. Gorgeous, come with us. Mr. Peng is waiting upstairs. Shaoli thought she was chosen and gave an arrogant huff. Then Li Hyo spotted Zhao Yu. That girl looks good. Bring her to Mr. Peng too. As Zhao Yu stood up, Shaoli suddenly kicked her gut. Zhao Yu's head hit the floor hard, knocking her out cold. Shaoli feigned a cry of, oops. Sorry, Zhao Yu, my bad. My foot just slipped. But she was thinking, no one steals my luxury. Li Hyo saw she was dying and whispered to his men, this girl won't make it. Dump her downstairs. Don't let her die here. Then he hurried out with Shaoli into the hallway. Stupid as Shaoli was, she felt something was off. They were leading her, not to the floor 30 stairs, but to the exit downstairs. She asked, Brother Li Hyo, isn't this the wrong way? Why are we going down? The moment she spoke, 2 thugs lunged at her. They tried to pin her down. Shaoli flipped out instantly, screaming like a stuck pig. All those hundreds of pounds suddenly exploded with power. She flung both thugs back. The noise shook the whole building. As I was climbing up, I stopped in my tracks, staring upward, and thought, holy crap. Are they raising pigs here? They must be eating well. By now, the hallway was already in chaos. Li Hyo was furious.
He shouted useless loudly.
All of you, get him. Don't let him alert the others. Then 2 more strong men rushed up. 4 grown men pinned her down like a hog, used all their strength. Only then did they get Zhou Shaoli on the ground. They taped her mouth shut tightly. Li Hyo wiped off his sweat. He viciously ordered them to drag her away. Kill her, leave no trace. The 4 men carried a struggling Zhou Shaoli, cursing as they headed downstairs. But halfway down, the 2 in front suddenly stopped. Seems like someone's inside. The 2 crept into the stairwell to check, but it was silent inside. Not a sound at all. The scruffy guy handed Zhou Shaoli to his buddy and went in to check for himself. But right as he got to the corner, his body froze. Then his legs moved in a weird way. He walked backward out, and the next second he just collapsed. His buddy with a hat hadn't reacted yet. A cold flash suddenly shot out. A machete spun through the air, killing him right on the spot. Zhou Shaoli, tied to the ground, saw all this and was scared out of her mind. Her diaper squirmed, trying to escape. Just then, I stepped out from the shadows, then used the tip of my blade to cut her tape. If you yell again, I'll cut your tongue out. Answer honestly. I might let you leave. Zhou Shaoli frantically nodded. She confessed everything she knew. The survivors are all on the 29th floor. Boss Peng and the supplies are on 30. You can only reach 30 via the central stairs from 29. There are about 30 armed men. Now I had a plan. Looking at the guy in the hat who was my size, a light bulb went off in my head. I quickly stripped him, put his clothes on myself, pulled the cap down low. Zhou Shaoli nervously begged me, "Bro, take me somewhere safe." But I didn't even glance at her. "Hide yourself." Rejected, Zhou Shaoli instantly threw a fit, threatened to scream for others. But as soon as she opened her mouth, I didn't hesitate and slashed down. Zhou Shaoli was out cold instantly, dropped right to the ground. Soon I was at the 29th floor stairway. I pulled down the brim and opened the door. The two guards at the door called out, "Hey, Han! Back so early. Where are the others?" I made my voice sound rough. The three of them got ideas suddenly. Said they wanted to have fun with the fat chick first. The guards froze for a bit, thinking of Zhou Zhaoli's body. Their stomachs churned. They waved, gagging. "All right, Tang. Go on up. Boss Huo wants everyone gathered." I kept my head down and slipped in, stepped onto the 30th floor, and saw two lines of guys in the hall. About 20 of them, all holding weapons. I quietly stayed at the end, watching. I knew, with only 7 bullets in my gun, fighting through was not happening. At that moment, Li Huo came over with his hands behind his back. He cleared his throat and shouted out, "You were all picked by me and Boss Peng. Tonight, only one job. Take care of all those freeloaders and weirdos. No one stays. After this job, in 5 days our boat arrives. We all follow Boss Peng to Shuan Mountain for the good life." Everyone let out a low, excited growl, eyes full of greed. But who knew? Li Huo walked straight toward me at the end. I tensed up instantly, thought I was busted. Hands got ready to draw, ready to pull my gun fast. But next second, Li Huo just slapped my shoulder hard. "Han, you're the one I trust most. Tonight, you lead the team." I was totally stunned, thinking, no way. I just came for some supplies. Now I'm really in trouble. But I could only force myself to nod under the cap. Li Huo thought I was shaking, leaned in and threatened me. "Don't play games with me. I'm the boss here. Just do what I say." Then he forced a fake smile again, told everyone to break up and rest. "We go when night falls." I wanted to slip away, but Li Huo stopped me again. "Come on, Han. Boss Peng wants to see us. Remember, talk less and nod more." Even though I was dying inside, I could only follow Li Huo, and walked into Boss Peng's office. In front of huge floor-to-ceiling windows, Boss Peng sat with his back to us on a leather chair, holding a cigar, staring out at the sea. He told us to sit down, tossed over 2 Dove chocolates. Back then, even dogs wouldn't eat this. Now it's worth more than gold. Li Huo tore it open and stuffed it in his mouth without thinking. Mumbled and asked Boss Peng, "What do you need?" Boss Peng slowly turned around, voice deep and low. "News from Shuan Mountain. Mutant fish, super aggressive, showed up in the sea. Big boats out, we're switching to speedboats. Not many seats left." I got a bad feeling. Mutant fish weren't supposed to show up for 6 days. How come they're early? Is this some kind of butterfly effect? Then, Boss Peng held up 3 fingers, said only 3 tickets. Pretended to reassure Li Huo and me. "You two are my best men. You'll get your spots." Li Huo's eyes lit up. Thanked him right away. I followed, hat low, thanked him too. But Boss Peng's tone turned cold. Voice got icy. "We have too many people. When the boat arrives, it'll be chaos. Those guys led by Su and Niu are just useless now. When we act tonight, I don't want to see them. Still breathing tomorrow." Li Huo stood up instantly, made a throat-slitting gesture. "Don't worry, Boss Peng. As soon as chaos breaks out, I'll take Han and get rid of them." Then Boss Peng told me to leave first. Said he had private business with Li Huo. Couldn't be happier about that. So I stepped out. But as I closed the door, I heard Boss Peng lowering his voice to Li Huo. "There's only 2 tickets. Han might be loyal, but he's not bright. I'd rather bring 2 boxes of cans than him. Once you deal with Su's crew, get rid of Han too." Li Huo paused for a second, then gave a cruel smile. "Boss Peng, we're on the same page. I've never liked him anyway." And after Li Huo left, Boss Peng, watching the sunset outside the window, a mocking smile curled at my lips. Li Huo, you're such a loyal dog. Too bad there's only ever 1 ticket." As night fell, the office building had no power. Only a few metal barrels burned table legs and planks. The fire flickered, barely lighting up the lobby. I used the firelight to find the supply stash. Inside what used to be the finance office, 6 big guys stood guard at the door, watching each other closely. Peeking through the crack, I could just make out the supplies inside. In the corner, several commercial water purifiers sat there. A wave of delight hit me. Hard work pays off. Finally found it, just as I was thinking how to make a move. A big hand slammed down on my shoulder. Li Hyo's voice came, Zhao Han. What are you looking at? Time's up. Come on, let's handle business first. I glanced at the guards and Li Hyo. I knew fighting head-on was stupid. Better to play along. Wait for chaos, then act. So I nodded silently. Followed Li Hyo to where Boss Su and Boss Niu were. They stood in front of a fancy suite. Even with good soundproofing, you could still hear men and women screaming inside. Li Hyo sneered. Shot me a look. Next thing, he suddenly kicked open the door. Boss Su jumped in shock while playing around. Suddenly started cursing out Li Hyo. Are you crazy? Barging into my room. Li Hyo closed the door behind him. 2 knives glinted in the candlelight. Sorry to interrupt your fun. Boss Peng asked me to pass on a message. He needs you both to die. Boss Niu yelled and reached for the metal pipe. But Li Hyo didn't give him a chance.
He dashed forward.
Blade swung tight, leaving no gap. Killed them both on the spot. The women screamed and scattered, but I blocked their way at the door. A woman fell to her knees by my feet, begging, brother, let me go. I just wanted some food. I'll do anything. My eyes were complicated. I knew how hard it was for normal people to survive now. I was about to open the door and let them out. The messier got, the better my chances. But as I twisted the handle, Li Hyo, crazed with killing, rushed over. Took care of the women in seconds. Screams stopped instantly. Li Hyo walked toward me step by step. Voice cold. Zhao Han, Boss Su is gone now. Now it's your turn. But I stared at Li Hyo coming closer. Suddenly smirked. The next second took off my hat. Showed a strange face. Kid, you really are heartless, huh? Li Hyo's eyes widened in shock. Who are you? Where's Zhao Han? But in the next second, a dark gun barrel was aimed right at his forehead. Drop the knife. Hands up. I held the gun one-handed. Calmly, Li Hyo took a deep breath. Let go. 2 knives clattered to the ground. He stared at me, thinking that within 7 steps, he could snap my neck. But he pretended to beg for mercy, then suddenly lunged at me. But I didn't pull the trigger. Instead, I swung my arm back, planning to smack him with the gun. Li Hyo felt a surge of joy, thinking the gun was empty. But as my arm swung out, the gun vanished. Now I held a split hatchet. At this close range, the hatchet slammed Li Hyo against the wall. He stared at the axe in his chest, then looked at the gun back in my hand. His whole world collapsed. How did a gun become a knife? I walked over and pulled out the axe. That's called brains. Your goons are all outside shooting. It's too noisy. You'll scare people off. Li Hyo opened his mouth. Eyes wide, he died on the spot. I took back the axe, straightened my outfit, walked out the door. More than 20 people had gathered in the lobby. Someone asked, confused, Captain Han, where's Hyo? I calmly coughed. He went to take a dump. He's constipated. Told us to go first. Everyone stirred. No one dared to act up. Suddenly, I raised my voice, shouted angrily, ask, ask, ask. Don't you have brains? Boss Peng gave a simple order. Cut down anyone you see. Need me to teach you how to use a knife. If anyone misses the chance for Shiwan Mountain, I'll take you out first. That shout shut everyone up. An old-timer quickly echoed me. LED everyone to split into 3 teams for the stairs. Even the 6 guards at the supplies charged out too. In less than a minute, the 30th floor was empty. I let out a cold laugh. I turned and headed straight for the supply room. There weren't a lot of supplies inside, but I didn't bother to check carefully. I went straight to the water purifier in the corner. Sliced open the casing with one move. Managed to grab 5 excellent filter cartridges. I was ecstatic inside. I'm gonna strike it rich now. With these, I can build a water purifier. It'll cover my future needs too. But while I was busy scavenging, I suddenly felt a chill like needles on my back. My scalp instantly tingled with fear. The next second, a cold dagger was pressed silently against my lower back. Peng showed up behind me, his voice icy. I knew something was off with you. Where did Li Hyo go? Pretty sure you killed him, right? My heart tightened. I really hadn't expected this. Peng actually snuck up on me in silence. How was I gonna get out of this? Right then, Peng shoved the dagger another half-inch forward. It ripped through my clothes. He started patting me down, but didn't find any weapon. All he found was the filters. He couldn't help but burst out laughing. So this is what you came to steal. You could take out Li Hyo easily. And sneak in here too. You've got some skills, kid. Not bad. He tossed the filters back to me. Stepped back a little. Put on a polite, almost humble act. I'm not gonna kill you. Actually, I'm gonna give you a chance. Here's a ticket heading to West Ring Mountain. Be my right-hand man. Help me build a doomsday business empire at the base. How about it? I looked at his smug face. Pulled a corner of my mouth. A bit dismissive. Not interested. One crappy boat ticket, and you want me as your lackey? This guy's played warlord for too long and gone soft. Peng's smile froze instantly. You refuse a toast, but drink the forfeit. Haven't had to fight in over a decade. Hope I haven't lost my skills. Before he finished speaking, Peng punched me right in the chest. I grunted and crashed into the wall. My arms and legs went numb. I couldn't even raise my hand to reach my gun. Peng slowly raised his dagger. Gave me one last chance. Said he'd tell me. A secret I'd be really interested in. They didn't pick West Ring Mountain for the base. Because of elevation at all? I agreed in a flash. Couldn't risk my life here. But right as Peng was about to spill the secret, a huge crack of thunder drowned him out. Totally covered his words. Rain was pouring outside the window. Peng suddenly froze in place. His eyes stared out in fear. No way, how could that thing be here? I followed his gaze outside. With a flash of lightning, I saw on the dark sea a massive shadow breaking through the waves. It was charging at the office building fast. That wasn't a boat. It was alive. Next, a deep muffled sound came from the ocean. The whole 30-story office building shook hard. The floor cracked open immediately. The supply-laden floor just collapsed. Peng and I both fell down with the rubble. In the lobby on the 29th floor, the survivors were wailing non-stop. Then the ceiling suddenly caved in. Supplies and 2 people slammed to the ground. Dust cleared. Peng got up covered in dirt and blood. He stood up fast, spat out some bloody spit, pointing at me. You're lucky to be alive. Now finish them off. Take it as your initiation. I sneered again. Slowly climbed up. Feeling came back into my fingers. Peng charged at me. So I suddenly spoke up. Ever heard that saying? Beyond 7 paces. What's fastest? Peng gripped his dagger tighter, his big face twitching. Next second, he suddenly powered forward. He blasted at me like a fired cannonball. That hit would crush any regular person, shatter all their bones. But I didn't dodge, just rolled my right hand swiftly. A Type 64 pistol appeared in my palm like magic. I raised it and aimed. Smooth as water. Beyond 7 paces. Guns are faster. Inside 7 paces. They're even deadlier. Peng's eyes went wide. That's cheating. But all he got was a loud crack of the gun, echoed through the dead silent lobby.
He died without figuring out.
Where I kept my gun. After that, the whole place went still. Those crazed people looked at my gun, each and every one of them pale with fear, bolted in all directions. But I didn't have time for them. That boom from the sea and the shadow were way beyond what I could handle. I couldn't stay here for long. I was about to slip out during the chaos, but 8 knife-wielding maniacs exchanged looks and surrounded me at once. Fortune favors the bold. If we get the gun, all the supplies and women here are ours. Staring at the killers closing in, I clicked my tongue impatiently. If you want to fight, then stay here forever. At the same time, I was thinking, only 6 rounds left, with 8 spread out enemies. I can't take them down one by one. Plus, bullets are precious. Can't waste them on these nobodies. Took a deep breath. Suddenly burst to the side. Bang, a gunshot rang out. The slowest thug nearby dropped instantly. Before the others could react, my pistol vanished from my hand and turned into a machete instead. Using momentum, I slipped between 2 people like a ghost. My blade hit right on target. In just 2 seconds, 3 more went down. The last 5 froze immediately, terrified by how fast I was. No one dared to step up again. But right then, a louder crash blared. The whole building tilted violently. It leaned over more than 30 degrees. The survivors lost their balance, sliding across the floor like canned goods toward the window. Glass shattered. Dozens of people fell into the dark sea. Not even a splash. I started sliding uncontrollably too, with my fast reflexes. I stabbed the machete into the floor, but as soon as I steadied myself, one of the maniacs grabbed my leg, begging like he found a lifeline. Suddenly, I felt heavy below the waist. The machete creaked from the weight. Peng's punch had already weakened me, so without hesitation, I kicked him hard in the face, watched him fall into the sea. Didn't feel a thing. Mercy and kindness only get you killed here. Meanwhile, the building tilted even more, almost turning into a wall. The machete handle started to bend. I knew I couldn't hold on any longer, so I looked up at the central pillar by the corridor entrance. A thought flickers. A legendary fishing rod appears. I grip the rod in my left hand. My right hand swings hard. The line wraps perfectly around the support pillar. It ties into a steady knot. Then I wrap the line around myself. Pulling out my machete, I use it like an ice axe to inch upward. Finally, I reach the top of the pillar. I jump into the corridor, but before I can celebrate, the upper half of the office building snaps off completely. I feel like my whole world flipped upside down. That weightless feeling hits me. I'm slammed hard against the ceiling. Then I crash back to the floor. Suddenly, powerful water pressure bursts through the hall glass. Cold seawater floods the whole space instantly. I'm swept away by the ocean, slammed into the corridor's corner. Everything goes dark. I nearly lose consciousness. In a haze, I feel like I'm back in my past life, being pushed off a boat. That hopeless moment as the shark tore into me. I didn't get reborn just to die as a water ghost. My desperate will to survive kept me going. I hold my last breath. I figure out which way to go in the murky water. I swim like crazy toward the floor-to-ceiling window at the corridor's end, still over 20 meters away. With my lung capacity now, if I push myself, I can make it. But just as I kick hard, ready to speed upward, a terrifying current stirs below me. It comes right from my feet. By lightning flashes, I see in the deep a massive, hopeless black shadow. It's shooting up like an arrow. A giant mouth full of sharp teeth is aiming straight for me. I'm completely shaken. All I wanted was a sip of clean water. Why does everyone, people or monsters, want me dead? But I grit my teeth, grip the legendary fishing rod tight. Even if I risk it all, I want this sea monster to pay. Using my last bit of strength, I swing the fishing rod. The hook lands right in the sea monster's flesh. System notification. Suddenly I remember. During fishing, your stamina is fully drained. After a successful catch, you'll fall into deep unconsciousness. I chuckle. I let go of the rod. My mind fades away. No clue if I'll make it, or what miracle this catch might bring. Who knows how much time passed. I wake up in soft white light. The feeling of suffocation is gone, now replaced by a strange warmth. Automatically, I squeeze what I'm holding. It's soft, feels great. But just then, a shy and proud ethereal woman's voice echoes in my mind. You bastard. How dare you desecrate me? If not for those blasted rules, I'd never acknowledge you as my master. I won't forget this. One day I'll swallow you whole. My cheek suddenly gets slapped hard. A sharp pain hits. My body drops fast. Darkness again. Next morning, birds wake me up. I find myself lying in the familiar ship's cockpit. The sea outside is calm, sunny and breezy, completely different from last night's storm. I try hard to recall everything from last night. Building collapse, falling into sea, swallowed by a sea monster. And that weird dream. But the dream details are fuzzy. Just remember a woman cursing. I summon the legendary fishing rod. The panel only shows the fishing count up by 1. No new items added. No change in skill or mental points, leaving me super confused. As I touch my left cheek, sharp pain comes, checking the window reflection. I'm stunned. The left side of my face is totally swollen, with a clear handprint on it. Small, slender fingers, definitely a woman's hand. Hard enough to nearly knock my brain out. What shocks me more, On the artery on my neck's right side, there are 3 bright blue scale patterns, embedded deep in my skin. They shimmer with every breath. Trying to scratch them off doesn't work. I'm totally stunned. I'm the only one on the boat. Where'd a woman's handprint and weird patterns come from? Maybe the sea monster spit me out last night, and some woman rescued me. Also slapped me. Can't figure it out, so I let it go for now. Check the 5 perfect filter cores in my pocket. Whatever happened, as long as I'm alive, I can get answers. Priority now is to make a water purifier. Solve the drinking water problem. I step out of the cockpit. Take out the blueprint to check main materials. Got the filter core. Also gathered the secondary materials. Just missing charcoal bits and plastic bottles. Plastic bottles are everywhere on the sea. Charcoal's the tricky part. Remember the survival video I saw before? You can make charcoal with the submerged flow method. So I summon the legendary fishing rod. Fish up a rusty iron bucket from the sea. Plastic bottles and empty cans. Begin making a basic charcoal kiln. But right, as I'm about to chop wood, the machete snaps in half. Using it as an ice axe last night. Totally used up its life. It's completely trashed. Didn't give up. I used a broken blade as a scorpion tool. Then used a wooden plank as a hammer. Chopped out a bunch of wooden strips by hand. Stuffed them into an empty can. Flipped it upside down in the middle of the metal barrel. Lit the wood shavings. Made a mini lead sulfur carbon kiln. While the charcoal was burning, I pulled out my last half bottle of water. Took a small sip. And started fishing again for the day. After all, in the apocalypse, you can never have too many supplies. 5 hours later, 1 p.m., I sat by the edge of the boat. The fishing rod bent into a full arc. I pulled with both arms. Reeled in at a steady pace. Suddenly, a green-gray glowing sphere broke out of the water and landed on the deck. Fishing success. Got a set of high-performance combat diving suit, plus 5 proficiency points and 2 spirit points. I was instantly overjoyed. This diving suit has stab-proof and thermal control features, plus an air tank, power fins, and a flashlight. On the vast ocean, this is basically a second life. I quickly stashed the suit in my space ring, then checked my morning fishing haul. Also found a carbon steel crowbar and a set of tactical clothes. Finally, I can swap out these salt-caked, rough clothes that gave me a rash. Changed clothes. Walked to the barrel. Used the crowbar to take out the upside-down can. Inside, the sticks had turned pitch black into light charcoal. I quickly moved to the control room workbench. Laid out all materials on the table. Shouted to craft a basic drip-type water purifier. The workbench glowed softly the next second. A few seconds later, a strange-looking purifier appeared in front of me. Output, 40 to 45 milliliters per hour. Filtration precision, 0.001 microns. Makes water you can drink directly. Carefully, I hung the purifier on the window frame. Set the plastic cup in place. Poured the cloudy seawater in. Watched as the water slowly turned clear. Sat cross-legged on the bed. Stared at the outflow tube without blinking. Finally, a clear drop of water fell. The drip echoed in the quiet control room. I knew that's the sound of hope. As night slowly fell 4 hours later, the plastic cup had collected about 150 milliliters of clear, fresh water. My hands shook as I picked up the cup, leaned back and downed it all. My whole body felt alive instantly. At that moment, my eyes got wet again. Only those who've known despair know how hard this half cup of water is to get. It's not just water, it's the right to survive. Just then, thunder rumbled outside the window, lit up by lightning. I saw the storm clouds on the far horizon, even thicker than last night. Another heavy storm is coming. I knew deep down, the butterfly effect from my rebirth had already made this world even more dangerous than I remembered. The mutant fish showed up early, the terrifying shadow in the deep, the frequent storms. The journey ahead is only getting harder. Put the cup back. I looked serious. Glanced at the wrecked diesel engine by the workbench. Water problem solved. Now I need power and food. Just rowing by hand. If danger comes, there's no way to escape. Clenched my fists. Eyes filled with resolve. Gotta fix the engine fast. Then get to Shawan Mountain Base. Look for more supplies and chances. This time, I won't just survive. I'm gonna live better than anyone. Meanwhile, in a high-rise at Fingjiangyuan residence, Chunzi slumped on a couch. squeezing an empty bottle of water, trying to get the last drop out. His lips were covered in white flakes, throat burning with dryness. Siyu Shishin held a fruit knife, cutting apple peels from the trash bin, trying to suck out a bit of moisture. Second aunt hugged a weak little teddy dog, blankly stared at the gloomy clouds outside. When will this ever end? But they didn't know. Far away on the sea, I had already found hope to survive. But how will they make it? Right then Chanzi smashed the empty bottle on the floor and yelled angrily, drank dirty rainwater, threw up and had diarrhea. The toilets flooded too. This damn high-rise is a death trap. Si Chu Shin sat nearby, timidly said. If only Lu Fan were still alive. He must have brought lots of supplies. That comment set Chunzi off. Lu Fan. All you talk about is Lu Fan. He suddenly stood up, veins popping out, glared fiercely at Cahu. That guy's long dead in the sea. Hoping he brings water is just a dream. He then dragged out a flat inflatable raft. Eyes scanned Si Chu Shin and second aunt coldly. Once the rain stops in the morning, we're heading to the docks to find a yacht. If you don't go, just stay here and die of thirst. Second aunt trembled with fear. Didn't dare to argue? The three took turns all night on the pump, risking everything for a slim shot at life. But they didn't know. The guy Chanzi cursed it as dead at Simi was lying in the boat's cabin right then, woken by the first sunlight, guarding the water purifier all night. The cup was already full of fresh water, a solid 500 milliliters, nice and heavy. In this world where water is worth more than gold, just a cup is enough to make people risk their lives. I held my breath, carefully carried the cup, fighting the urge to drink it all at once. Poured every last drop into a sealed bottle. With this purifier, even drifting at sea a whole year, I won't ever be a dried-up corpse. But now, with no power, drifted all night, I was brought to the edge of Weiss, near Song's Entertainment Center in West District, that fancy golden influencer high-rise. Just a kilometer to my left, only 5 or 6 kilometers from old Fengzhongyuan. Looking at the building, I felt no emotion. Chanzi and Siyu Shin really don't matter anymore. The most important thing now is fixing the wrecked diesel engine. But the workbench's repair list hit me like a brick. Missing alloy shaft, high-pressure injector, piston ring set. All core parts are gone. That's when it hit me. There's a big hardware market near Song's building. Even 50 meters underwater, big machine parts wouldn't just float away. I pulled out the high-performance combat dive suit from storage. Finished off my last beef jerky for energy. Quickly changed into the full dive suit. Took a deep breath. Jumped right in. The suit's thermal system locked in heat. Most of the water pressure eased off my body. I swam through the water like a fish. 5,000 headlamps cut through the darkness. But no one noticed the shadow nearby. A pair of huge, glowing, blood-red eyes were staring straight at me. Tree root tentacles swayed, quietly following me. 50 meters underwater. The silence was terrifying. Only the hiss of the regulator and bubbling sounds. The old asphalt roads had become deep trenches covered in mud and algae. Luxury cars lay jumbled together. Windows were shattered, and big sea monsters were probably nearby, clutching my crowbar. I didn't dare waste time. I swam hard toward the hardware market. I finally reached the market entrance, but the rolling door was locked tight. I jammed my crowbar in the gap, planted my feet, and pushed with my arms. This door would be easy to pry on land, but at 50 meters deep, it was almost impossible. Gritting my teeth, I used leverage, forcing it bit by bit. Over 10 minutes later, I heard a sharp pop. The rail bent. I finally pried open a gap just big enough for one person. But when I checked my oxygen gauge, it had been 20 minutes since I went under. Only 40 minutes of air left. That meant just 20 minutes to search. I slipped into the shop. It was a mess. I headed straight for the still-standing counter. Thank God I found a high-pressure fuel nozzle in a sealed box. Over in the repair corner. There was also a set of sealed piston rings unopened. But after searching every single shelf, the most critical alloy crankshaft was nowhere to be found. Just then, my oxygen alarm rang out loud. Only 6 minutes of air left. I made up my mind on the spot. Grabbed the parts, stuffed them in my pouch, and got to the gap. I stuck out half my body and saw a massive shadow. suddenly appeared just 10 meters out in the murky water. My heart skipped a beat. I thought it was a great white shark. I held my breath and switched off my headlamp, trying to hide in the darkness. But the thing seemed to have eyes, and its head turned right toward me. Those blood-red eyes locked onto me. I turned my headlamp back on instantly. The beam hit the shadow, and I gasped. This was no great white. Its upper body was a mutated shark, with grayish-white skin, gills flared out, covered in sharp bone spikes. But there was no tail fin below.
Instead,
7 or 8 thick, dark red octopus, tentacles with huge suckers the size of bowls. Every swing stirred up clouds of silt. It was some kind of freak, a cross-species monster. The monster, Jiangsha, raged at the light, making a high-pitched roar from its throat. A visible shockwave exploded out. My eardrums hurt bad. Head buzzed nonstop. My whole body felt like I'd been slammed with a hammer, and I lost balance instantly. Before I could recover, Jiangsha crashed into the door with massive force. The door caved in like paper. Then the rolling door was ripped apart. Jiangsha forced its head inside, snapping wildly with its bloody maw. I backed up in a panic, dodging as best as I could with powered legs. But when it rains, it pours. The oxygen alarm blared even faster. Just 1 minute of air left, and suddenly my power legs overloaded and went into cooldown mode. As I slowed down, the water behind me roared into a current. Jiangsha's jaws were right behind me. I tried to swim, but my left leg was bitten hard. My suit's anti-puncture feature was useless. The fangs ripped through the protection and sank deep into my flesh. Agonizing pain shot through my whole body. I started to convulse from the pain, but I didn't stop fighting. I jabbed my crowbar at Jiangsha's eye, but with a clang, my crowbar bounced right off. Turns out the monster's eyelids had a layer of transparent bone armor. Jiangsha howled in pain, getting even more violent, thrashing its head to tear my leg off. 3 tentacles wrapped around my waist and arms, squeezing tighter and tighter. I was choking and in agony at the same time. My vision started to black out, bones creaking under the strain. Death felt inches away. But just when I thought I was done for, the 3 rings on my neck suddenly started to burn, and a surge of heat raced through my body. Suddenly, a dazzling emerald wave exploded in a ring around me. Jiang Shark was clinging to me, but she was blasted back 5 or 6 meters, slamming hard into the wall. I grabbed my thigh and collapsed in the mud, gasping for air. I looked up and saw a floating greenish light right in front of me. A humanoid figure made of glowing energy, with tall and graceful curves. It was obviously a woman. Jiang Shark stabilized herself, watching her prey escape. She went berserk. Her gray-white skin flushed red instantly. Her body ballooned several times bigger. All the bone spines on her back fin stood straight up. She entered a second stage rage mode. But facing this terrifying monster, the emerald light just tilted her head slightly. Her ethereal voice carried bone-deep pride, echoing underwater. A little shapeless minnow. How dare you act out in front of me? As her words faded, her slender fingertip pointed in the air. A pure and intense emerald wave exploded in a fan shape. The dark, murky seabed lit up instantly. The greenish glow spread everywhere, coloring the entire surrounding sea. On the surface, Chunzi, Si Chu Shen, and Second Ant were rowing the inflatable raft, struggling to move forward. The blast of energy triggered giant waves. The raft got tossed away like a dead leaf. Second Ant, person, and dog fell into the ocean and vanished for good. This disturbance even alarmed the West Mountain Base 300 kilometers away. Red lights flashing wildly. A level 1 alert sounded. On the top floor of the Song Building, Song Han also witnessed this freak event. The hardware market down at the seafloor, including its foundation steel, was totally wiped out by the wave, leaving only a smooth giant crater. That mighty Stage 2 Jiang Shark didn't even leave a trace, turned into bloody mist that merged into the sea. The emerald glow faded. The hazy figure walked right up to me. Her ethereal voice carried barely suppressed fury. You idiot. Just a little minnow. Wasted one of my protective chances. You're the unluckiest person alive to be dragged down by trash like you. Her cold, phantom hand grabbed my chin. Her hollow eyes burned with endless resentment. Value your life. If your death harms my core, even if I risk divine punishment, I'll tear your soul apart myself. You'll never reincarnate again. Got it? The pressure stopped my heartbeat cold. I could only nod desperately. The woman gave a cold snort. She faded into starlight and vanished. The protective light sphere shattered. Cold seawater rushed in instantly. That's when I realized my oxygen tank was empty. I kicked instinctively, but the searing pain in my leg was gone. I looked down. My suit had a giant hole in the front, but the skin underneath was smooth and new. Not even a scar left. No time to marvel. Using my cooled-down power, I shot upward on foot again, clung messily to the boat and crawled onto the deck, breathing in fresh air greedily. My back was ice cold. My hands and feet just kept shaking. I reached for my neck. Only 2 green scale marks were left. The bottom one had disappeared completely, leaving only a faint red mark. Turns out I had 3 chances to stay alive, and I wasted one. Who exactly was that mysterious woman? Her fingers split the sea. With one motion summoned clouds. The next brought rain. That kind of power is far beyond human understanding. But before I could recover from the shock, I heard someone rowing nearby. A kayak was heading my way. 2 strong guys sat inside, holding homemade spears and machetes. Looking hostile, I listened to their conversation. The scruffy guy in the back noisy about the old wooden boat. The bald guy in the front grinned viciously. Said they'd knock me out and take me back. Split the supplies between themselves. Sad Songshao didn't care anyway. They quickly climbed onto the deck. The bald guy tapped the railing with his knife, bossing me around, yelling, "Hey, kid, Songshao likes you. Go up for a chat. Hand over your stuff first, especially any food. If you hide it, we'll break your legs." After holding my breath underwater, the oxygen deprivation made my chest heave violently. Eyes half closed, I ignored them. Scruffy got impatient and tried to search me. But as soon as he took a step, bang! A gunshot rang out. The deck buzzed from the blast. A hole appeared in his forehead instantly. Ball froze right up. His legs buckled and he knelt, banging his head. "Big brother, it's a misunderstanding. Huge misunderstanding. Songshao saw you're alone. Thought you might be in danger. Sent us to help." I walked over stone-faced, pressed my gun to his forehead. "Who sent you here? What do you want?" Bald stuttered, pointing at the song building, talking so fast it sounded like a machine gun. I didn't believe a word of his crappy lie. Looked up at the song building's top floor. Even from far away, I could feel eyes watching us. I lowered my gun. Bald just sighed in relief. I flipped my left hand. A hex wrench popped up out of nowhere, slamming right onto his head. He didn't even scream, just collapsed. I kicked him into the sea, coldly muttered, "No way I'm letting you go report back. I'm not stupid." That shot sent the perfect warning. For a while, the song building people will never mess with a guy holding a gun. So tired I went to sleep. Woke up hungry and rumbling. I've survived these days on beef jerky and spicy snacks. Total calorie shortage. Probably lost over 10 pounds. Picked up my super fishing pole and sat on the deck. Not just endless ruins. Almost feels like a vacation. As I stared at the float, zoning out, see Yixun and Second Aunt's corpse drifted toward my boat. I remembered her mean, sharp face very clearly. Last life she stood on the boat, watching me get eaten by sharks. Let me die without helping. Raised an eyebrow. I grabbed the paddle and stabbed her corpse hard. Pushed the body away with another jab. "You watched me feed the sharks last time. Now enjoy the taste of seawater yourself." Meanwhile, a few kilometers away on the sea, Chunzi and Xie Chu Shin were without second aunt, and they'd lost their supplies. Xie Chu Shin's complaints made Chunzi snap. He slapped her hard across the face. Out of options, they finally decided to head for the song building and take a gamble on survival. My fishing finally brought a surprise. The line suddenly sank. I reeled it in. A black gift box with golden letters landed on the deck. Premium A5 Wagyu barbecue set. My eyes went wide. I climbed into the cabin holding the gift box. Coincidentally, it started to rain just then. I cleared the parts off the workbench, set up a disposable self-heating grill, tore open the package. 2 pieces of ribeye, about palm-sized, lay on the plate. The marbled red and white looked like art. lit the charcoal, brushed on some butter. The buttery aroma filled the cabin instantly. Placed the wagyu on the grill. Sizzle. Fat bubbling up. Rich beef aroma mixed with smoky wood scent. Filled up my whole nose. Cracked open a cold Coke. The dim candle flame danced in the rain. Wagyu, crispy outside and tender inside. A sip of chilled Coke. When juicy beef bursts in your mouth, the carbonation cools your throat. Pure satisfaction. My whole body feels relaxed. Meanwhile, up at the top of the Song building, Song Han and Zhongshu's dinner was just dry bread with canned lunch meat slices and half a glass of wine that's been sitting too long. Song Han watched me all afternoon with binoculars. Thought I was throwing trash into the sea. Sighed, saying I'm drifting alone out here, with nothing to eat or drink. Probably nothing to do except sleep. If you gave him a bite of lunch meat right now, he'd probably go crazy with happiness. He has no idea. A kilometer away in a little boat. I'm right here, enjoying a feast he wouldn't even dare to dream of. After a night of heavy rain, Chanzi and Sichu Sheng got stuck in the rubble. Didn't find the yacht. Lost all their supplies. The two blamed each other. Finally, they followed the Song building's broadcast and found their way here. Meanwhile, I'm staring at a pile of parts, frustrated. I have the high-pressure fuel nozzle and piston ring, but still missing the alloy crankshaft. Just as I'm wondering where to find it, someone from Song building shows up again. This time it's an elderly man in a Zhongshan suit. He called himself Zhongzhang, one of Song Han's people. I frowned, right hand clutching the crowbar. It appeared in my palm out of nowhere. Sending an old guy to die? But the old man pressed down with his foot.
He leaped like a giant bird
And landed steadily on the deck. My pupils shrank. Turns out he's trained. He moved, like a ghost, darting in and out. His dry hand clamped onto my wrist like steel. Twisted and pressed it hard. I yelled, "Oh, oh!" I surrendered, only then realizing. This old man looks frail, but he's freakishly strong. Eventually he let go and said calmly, "I'm not here as an enemy. I'm here representing Song Shao to make a deal." What Song Shao wants is your survival skills after the tsunami. He wants to recruit you. He wants you on his side. I went silent. Early days of the apocalypse. What all the big groups lack most is talent. Song's building is just the kind of place that might have the alloy crankshaft I need. Instead of searching blindly like a headless chicken, may as well try my luck in the dragon's den. Even if talks fail, escaping wouldn't be a problem. I agreed right away, but raised two strict conditions. First, if anyone touches my boat up there, I kill them. Second, if we can't make a deal, don't try to keep me. Force me, and I'll risk it all.
Take Song Shao with me.
Zhongzhang nodded slightly. Agreed immediately. I followed Zhongzhang up to Song's building. Made it to the 50th floor guest room. Finally met Song Han, wearing a blue-black suit, gold-rimmed glasses, refined and elegant. The woman next to him was actually Shen Qingyu, famous Dragon Kingdom actress. Big voluminous curls, a tight dress with a pencil skirt, curves for days, but totally impatient. Shen Qingyu tried acting like a diva, saw me looking confused, and scoffed. My face is on the LED screens downtown every day. I suddenly got it. Grinned, "Oh, a superstar." Now, I remember, back when it was quiet late at night, I used to get in trouble looking at you. As soon as those words came out, the air froze instantly. Shen Qingyu's face turned bright red. She pointed at me, shaking with anger. "You filthy jerk." I ignored her completely. I turned to look at Song Han. My smile faded away. "Let's skip the formalities, Song. I'm just a rough guy. I'm here to talk business." Song Han adjusted his glasses. He told Shen Qingyu to sit down. He clapped his hands. The female assistant brought out 4 plates of food. Each person got 2 thick slices of luncheon meat and 2 pieces of bread. Shen Qingyu poked her luncheon meat. She looked at me with contempt. "This is premium spam. You probably never ate anything this good in your whole life. Song gave this to you. Why aren't you saying thanks?" I glanced at him, like I was looking at an idiot, getting hyped up over canned meat. Never seen the real world. I reached behind me and pulled out a can. A frosty cold Coke. What's the point of just eating dry bread? Song is such a big boss, yet the guest has to bring their own drink. That's a bit stingy. Shen Qingyu's fork dropped to her plate right away. She stared at the Coke. Her throat moved uncontrollably. This sugary soda. She'd begged Song Han for it several times. Song always said supplies were tight. He pretended to stay calm without drinking. He told Zhangjiang to get 3 cans from the storage room. Zhangjiang refused to drink. Song was about to put them away, but I snatched them. Wow, Song, you're so generous. Old man won't drink, so I'll handle it. Don't waste it. I popped open 2 cans, 1 in each hand, tilted my head back and chugged. Finished with a loud burp. Nice. Any more? Give me 2 more cans. Song Han gripped his fork tight. His eye muscles were twitching. This isn't business talk. It's flat-out extortion. But to win me over, he could only bear it. Finally, Song Han cut to the chase, talking about the Jiangsha. The Jiangsha in these waters killed a lot of our search team members. Yesterday's strange event. You survived it, so you probably know its situation. I want you to help us kill it. I set down the Coke, chewing luncheon meat. Let's skip the feelings. What's in it for me first? Song Han gave a slight smile. Just name your supplies. I actually want to work with you long term. Until we reach West Ring Mountain. I spoke up directly. I want an alloy crankshaft, plus enough food and fresh water. Everything else is talk. Song Han nodded at that. There's a scrapped diesel engine in the generator room downstairs. Removing the crankshaft will take time. If you're willing to cooperate, you'll have plenty to eat and drink. I agreed right away. Song Han is generous. Happy to work together. Once we were fed and hydrated. Let's go right now. Shen Qingyu's eyes widened. You're not gonna digest first? I joked calmly at her. Just killing a half-dead fish. What's there to digest? When we reached the survivor work zone on the 40th floor, Song Han had arranged over 10 strong diving team members. They followed me, but I shook my head. Pointed at the 2 youngest, timid ones in the corner. Zhou Sheng and Wang Ying. Too many people means huge target. Easy to alert it. Just those 2. Come with me. As soon as I said that, the crowd erupted. A big guy came forward. Hey kid, stop showing off. That Jiangsha is vicious. You want to go down with just 2 little rookies? If you're tired of living, don't drag them down. I glanced at him, sneered, simple-minded. All brawn. Who's dumb enough to go die? It's tactics. Get it, Zhangjiang shouted. No one dared say another word. Zhou Sheng and Wang Ying nervously stepped out. Follow me to gear up for diving. Once we got to the flooded area on the 25th floor, I checked my pneumatic spear gun. Zhou Sheng and Wang Ying were trembling, huddled on the stairs. I told them, when we go down, just follow my lead. Don't wander off, or no one can save you. But those words became the last straw for them. Zhou Sheng buried his head and cried hard. I saw that monster rip our captain in half. Just the 3 of us. How can we stay alive? Wang Ying sobbed too. I don't want to die. I looked at them and sighed. That mental toughness. Surviving this far is a miracle. But honestly, it works for me. I suddenly put on a tragic expression, strapped the spear gun to my back. You 2 stay here. They froze right away. Wang Ying was shocked. Are you going alone? You'll die. I stood tall, looking determined. Someone's gotta do it. If I don't go, who will? For humanity to survive. For a slim hope in this damn apocalypse. This risk is nothing. Zhou Sheng and Wang Ying were totally moved. Ashamed and inspired, Zhou Sheng wiped his nose. Lu, I'll go with you. Wang Ying nodded. Me too. But I snapped at them. Stop messing around. You're still young. You've got your whole future ahead. This kind of risking your life stuff isn't for you. Zhou Sheng muttered. But Lu, you're not that old. I laughed, sounding worn out, looking up at the ceiling. Back then, I traveled south. Made it through the north, got my legs run over by a train. Drank water in bathroom stalls. You couldn't imagine my experiences. I finished, put on my breathing gear, and jumped straight into the cold sea, leaving Zhou Sheng and Wang Ying crying and yelling on shore. Lu, you've got to make it back alive. Underwater, I shook my head and sighed. Young people really are easy to fool. Because I didn't actually plan to kill the Jiangsha. Just wanted a spot to grind fishing attempts and grab something to fake it. I slipped to the AC platform behind the Song building. Here's a blind spot. No one can see me. Then I switched to my top-tier fishing rod and started fishing. First 8 times, all junk. Only a pack of cookies and an apple were edible. I was about to lose my mind. Gritting my teeth, this is my last shot. Come on, give me something good. Suddenly the line plunged. I thought it was more trash. But then this heavy feeling came, like something alive. Clamped the hook and shook wildly. I got pumped. Tensed up, battled it. After about 5-6 minutes, the rod suddenly eased. Splash. A pinkish-white ball of light burst out of the water, landing on the platform. Turns out it's a pink dolphin about the length of an arm. Its whole body is pinkish-white, skin smooth like jade. Right in the middle of its round forehead, there's a spiral horn as long as a finger. Big watery eyes looking at me, all innocent. System notification. This is a juvenile deep-sea dragon dolphin. Currently, it's at life-level evolution. Potential is at the supernatural level. Its horn can pierce through steel plates. Top speed underwater is 30 knots. When grown, it can control weather. It'll be the ruler of its waters. I'm thrilled. I poke the little dragon's forehead. Damn, it's a divine beast. I name it Little White. Little White is really close to me. It even nudges my crotch with its snout. I quickly push it away. Hey you. Are you a boy or a girl? Coming up and acting all flirty. Little White's eyes turn red with sadness. I helplessly comfort Little White. Suddenly, Cloudy turns sunny. Its tail is wagging like a propeller. I see it's getting late. I point at the seawater below. Little White, go catch me an octopus or shark. Little White blinks. With a whoosh, it turns into a pink lightning bolt and dives in. Less than 5 minutes later, it bursts out of the water, holding an octopus as tall as a person in its mouth, and carrying a dead great white shark on its back. It drops the prey at my feet, raises its head, asking to be praised. I gasp in shock. That size difference, that fighting power. Absolutely insane. I cut off an octopus tentacle and a shark fin, then slash a few holes in my wetsuit. Kick the bodies into the sea. Tell Little White, you eat the rest. After you're done, hide near my boat, okay? I ordered it not to come out. Little White rubs my palm, drags its prey and dives into the deep. Meanwhile, Shen Qingyu on the top floor of the Song building has long run out of patience. Mock Song Han. 4 hours have passed now. That hillbilly probably died down there. Only you are stupid enough to still wait. Song Han frowns deeply, not feeling confident anymore either. At that moment, Uncle Zhang speaks. I can't see through that kid. But the confidence he showed before leaving wasn't fake. Maybe he really has a trump card. Meanwhile, Zhou Sheng and Wang Ying waited for 4.5 hours in the flooding zone, thinking I'm dead for sure. About to go find Uncle Zhang. Suddenly, bubbles sound behind them. I pop my head out of the water, gasping, don't attack. Sis, it's me, my brother. I take them back to the survivor area on the 40th floor. It's tense as hell here now. Some wipe tears saying I got Zhou Sheng and Wang Ying killed. Others yell they want Song Han to explain. Shen Qingyu holds her nose, dissing young Song. This deal was a huge loss. That hillbilly probably bailed with the boat. Song Han's fists behind his back clenched slightly. Did he really misjudge me? Right then, the rusty back door slowly opened. I walked in soaked, wetsuit torn in several places. No one behind me. That big guy I beefed with earlier rushed out at once, grabbed my collar, shouted angrily, Hey Lou! Where are those 2 kids? Everyone realized. I came back alone. They assume I ditched Zhou Sheng and Wang Ying as bait. The angry mood instantly spirals. Big guy's fist is about to smash down. Song Han says quietly, forget it. Guess I just had bad judgment. But just as the fist's about to land,
Bang!
the rear door bursts open. Zhou Sheng and Wang Ying carrying octopus tentacle and shark fin rush in. Yell, stop! Why are you hitting me? Brother Lu, everyone freezes. I calmly fix my collar. Point at the octopus tentacle on the ground, that's octopus leg. Then point at the shark fin. Snort at the big guy, that one's yours. Big guy hears this and looks completely confused. That's me. I nod, totally serious. Yeah, a shark fin. Who else but you? Someone in the crowd can't help but laugh. Big guy's face turns liver-colored, his fists clenched, knuckles cracking. But looking at the giant monster pieces on the floor, He doesn't dare make a sound. Who'd mess with a badass who can kill monsters like that? Eventually, I crouched down, checked the remains, nodded, said this meat is tough, full of fierce energy. That's the mark of Zhang Sha. As soon as I finished, the crowd went wild. Everyone looked at me like I was a god. Shen Qingyu's eyes widened. She covered her red lips. Couldn't believe it. That ordinary-looking me actually killed Zhang Sha solo. But I walked over, patted Zhou Shang and Wang Ying on the shoulders. Acting humble honestly, I just got lucky. If those two hadn't risked their lives distracting the monster, giving me a chance, I never could have done it. Wu Sheng and Wang Ying were stunned. Both of them had been scared stiff in the hallway. But before they could explain, they were surrounded by the crowd. Praised as heroes, I gave a satisfied nod. Fake glory. Whoever wants it can have it. I just want real benefits. Song Han was overjoyed. Took me upstairs to discuss my payment. Suddenly, he looked troubled. The diesel engine is too complicated. Taking apart the crankshaft needs special tools and time. Afraid you'll have to wait one more night. He clapped his hands as he spoke. 4 hot, top-tier massage therapists came in, holding essential oils and towels. Song Han gave a knowing smile. Tonight, just relax here. I'll have it ready first thing tomorrow. Hand delivered. I sneered inside. That old fox Song Han wants to butter me up and keep me here. Slowly get me on his side. Maybe the old me would have been tempted. But now I just faked agreement. Since you're being so nice, young Master Song, I'd better accept your offer then. Once it's dark, I'll steal the part and leave. Let's see who can stop me. Night fell. A fine drizzle came down. Chun Zi and Siyu Shu shin about the air valve. Finally arrived at the Song Group building, both completely soaked through, looking washed out and scrawny. After a weapons check by security, they led them in. Entering the lobby, a wave of warmth greeted them. There was a bonfire burning inside. Someone was grilling meat. The smell of seafood and roast made them drool. A survivor handed them a pair of grilled octopus skewers. The food's amazing. Just arrived and already there's a feast. That's our building's hero. Lu Fan brought in the catch. Chun Zi and Si Ju Shin wolfed down the food. And when they heard my name, both looked shocked like lightning struck. Rage burned in Chun Zi's eyes. Bet he never dreamed I'd leave them behind and live it up alone. Meanwhile, in the fancy suite on the 48th floor, I was in a loose robe on a big bed, getting massaged by 4 gorgeous therapists. Suddenly, someone knocked. Shen Qingyu came in, wearing a tight purple dress, black stockings and red high heels. Her makeup hid her tiredness, her eyes super alluring. She closed the door and sat beside me. In a sweet voice, "Sorry, I misjudged you earlier. Sorry I offended you, Mr. Liu. Hope you can forgive me." I glanced at her hand and grinned. "Miss Shen, you want me to fix your plumbing?" Shen Qingyu's fingers froze up. Bet she was cursing me in her head 1,000 times. But she still forced a smile. Song Han isn't reliable. He promised to take me to West Ring Mountain, but kept delaying. "I want your help. I'll help you get the alloy crankshaft. You take me with you. Deal?" I raised my brow. "Apart for a ticket out? Am I being taken advantage of here?" Shen Qingyu went limp, leaning against me. But I dodged, jumping off the bed. She missed and fell on the bed, looking totally lost. I pulled on my cargo pants. Scowling, "You really think you get perks with nothing to offer? Too easy for you." Shen Qingyu was so mad she nearly fainted. But I just grabbed her arm. "Cut the crap. Answer 2 questions for me. If you do, maybe I'll take you. Right away. I got 2 key pieces of info. The power room is on the east side, 49th floor. Guards posted there. She can get Song's mid-size yacht out. The Yuanheng. It sank 150 kilometers northwest of West Ring Mountain. Always foggy there. Electronics don't work. Rescue teams won't go near." Knowing all that, I was thrilled. That sunken ship's material is perfect for upgrading my boat and building survival gear. I instantly had Shen Qingyu take me to the power room. She tricked the guards, saying young Master Song wanted them to check the wiring. When the guards saw the celebrity, they rushed downstairs, and I slipped into the power room, pulled back the dust cover. The scrapped diesel engine was untouched. Song Han really was stalling. I pulled out my crowbar and pried out the heavy alloy crankshaft. Even grabbed some high-voltage coils and metal bearings. Put the cover back on, and went back to the room with Shen Qingyu. Started packing my stuff. Stuffed water, cans, and parts in a bag and tossed it to her. The weight knocked Shen Qingyu off balance, eyes wide. So heavy, I have to carry this? I rolled my eyes. You just want a free ride? Not doing any work but want a ticket? She was furious, but had to put up with it, carrying the bag behind me. We waited for the guards to switch shifts, then sprinted down the back hall to the 25th floor cargo door. It was stormy outside. Sea spray everywhere. Shen Qingyu was sweating buckets, staring at the Black Sea, her voice shaking. How do we get out without a boat? I gave a confident smile. Relax, I've got it covered. I hid a spare inflatable boat in the diving corridor ahead. Room for two. I took the bag from her. Give me the bag, you go drag it over. Once Shen Qingyu heard there was a boat, her eyes lit up. She dashed off to the room. But when she opened the door, the room was totally empty. No kayak. Not even a piece of wood. She immediately realized she'd been tricked. Went crazy running to the exit, shouting my name. But when she rushed back, the platform was already empty. I was long gone, out on the sea now. I lay on Little Bai's back, holding tight on both sides. Heard the angry yelling behind me. Shook my head, silly woman. She believed anything. I patted Little Bai's head, full speed ahead. Back to the boat to mount the engine. Little Bai let out a happy cry, flicked his tail, and we sped through the waves, disappearing into the night. Top floor, Song Group building. Shen Qingyu burst in barefoot, crying to Song Han. That jerk tricked me, stole the crankshaft, and ran. Song Han's pencil snapped in two. He rushed to the window. Out at sea. My little wooden boat was nowhere to be seen. And just then, Zhong Jiang came in. Young Master Song, there are 2 survivors on the 40th floor. Say they're Mr. Lu's friends. They keep asking to meet you. Chen Zi and Siyu Xun were brought into the meeting room. As soon as they saw Song Han, they buttered him up. Young Master Song, I'm Lu Fan's bro Chen Zi. She's Lu Fan's favorite girl, Siyu Xun. We came to find him. Song Han replied coldly. Why should I believe you? People who do anything for a bite, even call a dog their dad. I've seen plenty like that. The 2 panicked and explained Lu Fan has a mole at the corner of his left eye and a cashew-shaped birthmark on his right wrist. Only close friends would know. Song Han narrowed his eyes. I've seen the mole. And vaguely noticed the birthmark too. Looks like they're legit.
He said flatly, unlucky for you.
He just left and swindled me out of supplies. So, you 2 can pay off his debt.